All right. Hello. Welcome to the vault. Uh, Jake here again. So, be our second time around. Glad to have you. Appreciate you coming in today. Uh, we, I guess I'll start out by letting you know we had a little bit of a technical issue last time with the microphone, right? So, after much investigation, I figured out that I certainly boomered it, just like I boomered that one. So I have one of those nice Rode microphones. It's got a kind of a shield thing on the front of it, and I'll just tell you that it has it had this piece between it and the microphone that I could have swore was some kind of a dampener, but it turns out that this guy is actually just packing material. So hope it sounds better. You can let me know if it doesn't. But anyway, hopefully that's resolved. Yeah, I hope everybody had a good Christmas. We certainly did here in this household, and show you what I got. I got a year-long park pass to Texas State Parks. It's going to be a fun time. Glad to have it. Thanks to my family for that. Much appreciated. So tonight, what are we going to be working on tonight? Got a few things, a few news items that we'll go through, and we're going to look at Legend Keeper, and that is a world builder tool that I use. So Legend Keeper is something that came onto my radar after it won Gold ENnie for best RPG tool. I'm not sure what year it won, but that's something we're going to take a look at, and I'll show you some examples of how it's used and how I use it and how I plan to use it moving forward. And then, like I said, a few other items and anything else that anybody else wants to talk about, right? So, anyway, that's I, I have something for you to just kind of demonstrate the foo bars that with my mic.
All I have is a piece of hard rock candy. But it's not for eating. It's just for looking through.
Yeah, so that's pretty much me and a mic, right? Anyway, so anybody else want to share? I see how many we got. We've got we have looks like Kathy and Mark in. Mark, do you get anything cool that you want to share anyway? You know, the park pass I got, we had that we had one of those a few years back, and we used it some, but I don't think we got the most use out of it. So we're going to we're going to make more use of it this year. We're going to try and hit we're going to start trying to hit all the parks that we can. That's I think it's my goal. I'd like to hit as many parks in the state as I can before I'm not able to, right? Mark says, I got a pizza stone and a new cookbook. I'm going to try my hand at no, not smoking pizzas, making pizzas on my barbecue pit. Well, that's interesting. So tell me about that. How does that work without a way to kind of contain the heat real good? Do you have like a good lid that'll do that, or what? How does that happen? Because the way I understand it, on with the pizza, you got to have kind of all around heat, right? Yeah. So yeah, can get well over 800 degrees on a small charcoal grill. Yeah, yeah. Well, that if that's not hot enough, I don't know what is, right? Okay. So yeah, let's take a look and start diving in. So here we are. This is Legend Keeper's website. So I'm just kind of showing it at the beginning here, but it is an online tool and it is subscription based, right? So you can have, I think the way it works, if I remember right, on the free version, you can have one world, and I think that there's a few other limitations to it, but not many. It really is pretty open even on the free version, and it's all web based. There's no download, right? So it's all web based within your browser, and the you can invite other people in to view and share your the instance that you create for your world, right? And then you can set permissions within it too. So one of the things that I have used it for so far is kind of keeping track of my own thoughts and keeping track of the things that I introduce in games, people, places, things. And then I can also start to organize those by adding stats, and I can kind of keep a record of what happens with those. And additionally, it has a really cool board feature that I'll show you here in a minute. It's almost like a GM screen, so to speak, right? And so you can kind of just throw things onto that board, and it's great for game day because I can put everything that kind of I've prepared for the day onto that one board and move it around and see and have everything there at one glance, right? So, and then you can tab that too. So you can have tabbed boards. So I have one for like the regular GM screen, and then another one for my game day prep. So we'll go through some of that here. So let's see here. So this is somebody else's world that they were kind enough to share with everybody in the Legend Keeper Discord, and I thought I would bring it up here because it kind of exercises a little bit of all of it, and you can kind of see how they use it in a real situation, right? So it's laid out here on your left is uh, that's your navigation menu, right? And so you have nested areas within that. So you can create these categories and nest them and rename it anything you want. And over here in the main page here, you can set this up. It is supremely customizable, and you'll see what I mean here in just a minute. And then you have a right hand kind of a quick reference menu or quick reference sidebar over here as well. So let's look at the geography, right? So this will showcase what a map is like. So this is a map screen, and you can move it around. You can upload whatever image that you want for your map, and it supports some pretty large file sizes. So if you have a large PNG, then you can throw that in here, and you can zoom in really close to it. So as you see, you can mouse wheel and scroll in and out. And if you have a large PNG, you can drill down into some pretty fine details there, right? And then it also supports map pins. So there's map pins that just like you would for Google Maps or something like that. And as you hover over, you can get the tooltip for it and then click on it. And it brings up a little quick view menu here. So that's Gearspire Bastion, and you have the kind of an abbreviated version of the page. But if you wanted to, you come up here and there's a little button at the top. Click that, and it takes you directly into the full page. So jumping back to the map, you can if you can move these pins around if you're the owner of it. We can't because we're just viewing it from a shared point of view. You can move the maps around, the map pins. You can create new ones. You can choose what kind of symbols are on them. You can even upload your own images to appear inside the symbols if you want. extremely flexible. And then also you can see that the map pins scale up to match whatever zoom level you're in. So that way they don't, when you zoom in close, they don't appear just huge. They shrink, they stay the same size as the screen while the map becomes larger. There's also a little feature that's cool where you can click and have them grouped. So if you have a ton of pins on here and you zoom out to like this level, it will group them all into areas so it doesn't just clutter the map, super heavily, right? So that's an interesting little piece there. Let's jump into this one, and I'll show you kind of what we're looking at. So you can see here that this person has created a little blurb here, and then he's embedded links to other pages within the site. So you can see that these, if you highlight over them, it pops up a mini view of another page. And if you click there, it'll take you right over to it. So it's just like a little hot link that will take you there. You can insert tables into your pages. You can insert all kinds of formatting, text formatting, as well as numbered lists, check boxes, even meters, which I'll show you here in a minute, which is something new they added. And then you have jumps here. So you click population and it would take you. So these are like hot links within one page, right? So that takes you to the history section and so forth. And then over here, they put the districts of the city. So you put the Arcane Grove, tells you a little bit about that. And you could put another map at that level if you wanted to, right? So if you have a city like this and you have multiple districts, if you jump over to the district, you could add a new tab and put a map for that level of the city. He does not have a city map here, but he could if he wanted to. Well, he does. He's got a map. Let's see if it's, no, he's not uploaded a map, but he does have a map page for the city. So yeah, I mean, that shows kind of what this page would look like. Let's see what else he's got. So we'll jump back to the home. And this is, I think these are his parties. So his Friday Phantoms. And you can see how he's created links here for each one of his characters that are in the party that are for his players. You can see story arcs that he set up, important NPCs. He's even done his adventure logs here. So starting with session 0 and on. So let's look at that. So yeah, you can see that he's created a list here of homework for his players of what to do after the game, GM homework and who attended, start and end date. It's very organized. And then jump over to the summary tab. He did short introductions, campaign, house rules. Yeah. So you can see he add bulleted lists, all that kind of thing. So that's, this is a very organized campaign. Let's look at some of his characters. So yeah, Dial Bearing Stone. It tells the party that he's in. So you see how he's got a separate call out, the purple box. That's something that you can create within the wiki page. You can do those in different colors. You can set up tables. There he put his class and character information over here. Got some AKAs, that's cool. And then also tags. So one thing about Legend Keeper that's really nice is that you can set up tags for various pages within your wiki, and then you can search by those tags and come up with everything. So let's just take hero. So there's his heroes that he's got. Looks like he's got 2 different parties. So let's look and see. I don't know if he has any boards or not. or timelines. So timelines is something new that they've created, and I was curious. I think you did create a timeline. Let's look and see if I can find it. I found it earlier. Well, no, that was on the example one. So we've seen enough of this one. Let's look at the example. So this is when you load up a new instance or new world, you're going to get a blank world here, but you'll also get this little thing called the realm of Tutoria, which is an entire tutorial realm that they've created that tells you all the functions of the software, which is an amazing way to teach you how to use this tool. And I used it pretty extensively. So let's look at their Temple of Time. So this is their new timeline feature. And currently we're looking at the list view here. So you're starting with 492 of the Common Era, and then you have events that are here. And you can also classify these timelines into categories. So he has an adversaries category. So there's a separate timeline for adversaries, and there's a separate one for civics. And then I think there's another one. Yeah, there's a player timeline as well. And so if you click on one of these, it'll take you actually to a wiki page for that event, if there's one in the system. So let's see. No, I don't think the example here has one. No, it does not. So then you have two other views, right? So we're looking at the list view. You also have a calendar view, which is a typical calendar. And you can see that these events that stretch out across long periods appear on the calendar, right? But to me, the really best view here is the Gantt view. So you can look here and see a stretched view over the year 867, looking at the months. And then you can use your mouse scroll wheel to make it a much wider view if you want, or you can really zoom down into the day. So let's zoom out, because I'm going to show you. Okay, so you're looking at a long period of time here now. So you're looking at, from 400 of the Common Era to 1200. And then you have a bunch of things here. So if you then scroll over here on this to this side, and I need the hand tool. So there we go. And then we start drilling down here, then you're going to see a bunch of events start to pop up at a very small time frame. So now we're down to the period of just January of 1201 CE. And you see a lot of things that are going on in that time period. And like I said, you're looking at three different timelines here, right? So this bottom one is the players, or the top one's the players. And then you have the civics section and then the history section here. So each one of these, you can view these and turn them on and off if you want to. So you can drill those down or open them back up. And then of course you have a filter here that you can use. You can look for specific days. You can filter for specific timelines and so forth. So this is a tool that is frankly amazing that they've just recently added, that really lets you keep track of this to a very high degree. Then I'm going to jump over and show you. Let's take a look at the board Bastion. So this is kind of the whiteboard, right? So you can move this around, and then you can throw things on here in any way that you want to. So let's zoom in. If you hold Control and use your scroll wheel, you can zoom in and out. And these are actual boards that he created where you can to show you how it works. So you can drag and drop images onto here. You can create shapes on the board. You can put sticky notes on the board, all kinds of things. And I have done that on my game day stuff. So I'll take like a chart that I'm interested in, and I will screen cap the chart, and then I just drag and drop it here on this board. so that I have it within quick view. So, and then like if you come down here and hit the sticky note, you click that button, click over here, and then you can, we're zoomed out quite a bit here. So I've got to, so once you have the ticket or the template there, then you can just, you can type whatever you want there, and then you can jump and create another copy of it. You can change the size of it if you'd like. So let's see. I think I've forgotten how to change the size actually, but anyway, you get the impression. But you can make these sticky notes big or small or whatever, and you can format the information. There's a pencil tool here, allows you to draw directly on the board. You can create arrows to point to different things. It's almost like a whiteboard for something crazy like that. Hey Scott, I see you. Come on. So we're currently demoing, looking at Legend Keeper, which is a world builder tool. Let's see. So you can also drop in URLs to different pages that you want, and then you can just click and it'll take you directly there. This board, I think I've delved into maybe, I don't know, maybe 25% of its power of what you can do with it. Like it says here, you can also lock certain areas so that it doesn't accidentally move when you click on it. And then the cool thing is you can jump up here and you can do several of them. So this is the main one. You can come over here and hit add tab board, and then suddenly you have another one here. And this is what I was talking about earlier. I have a tab for my GM screen, and then I have another tab for my game day board of where I put all the information that I need to run the game. Then let's jump into the map. Where's it at? There it is. Okay. So this is the grouping tool I was telling you about earlier. You can enable pin clustering. So see how it grouped those into 2 different pins. So that way it doesn't clutter up your map. It'll find ones that are close together and then group them up. But this is a good way for you to create sub maps too. So you can set it up to where if you clicked on map mountain, then you could hit another. So you could add a tab here and then add another map. And then you'd be able to drop that in here and you could see it. So when you clicked on it, you could see the sub map right here on the screen, right? And then if you drill down into it, you could click go to element and it would bring it up as a full map. It's an amazing way to go in and out of different areas of your campaign. So lastly, let's take a look here on something that I wanted to show you of what I am doing. So let's look at my projects and let's look at the Blades of the Darkwind. This is something that I created today. So you have a template section here. So this templates are things that you can create as defaults. So you can set up pages to be a template that you can then pull into, you can use those to create new wiki pages. So for instance, I have a character tab that I built here. And so if I wanted to, and I'll show you how that, let me do one thing first. Let's show you the character tab or the character template, and then I'll show you how you can use it to just real quickly create new pages based on it. So there it is. Okay, so what I did is I created this character template to be reusable with 3 tabs. And this is for the Blades in the Dark game. So You have an overview page with where you can add your description, information, things like that. And I also created this sidebar to be able to throw a picture of your character, your friends, enemies, heritage and background, vice purveyor, and any tags that you want. And then this is the character playbook that I created. So you can change the column format of this wiki page by using a layout function. And let me show you what that looks like. So if you come down here to the bottom, you can do a slash command like that. And that slash command allows you to add elements to the wiki page. And there's a ton of slash command things that you can add to it, like changing the header style. You can put a table of contents in, all kinds of things. So that's how you actually create these pages, is using the slash commands. So here's what I did. They created something new here the last week called a meter. All right. You can add these meters to your sheets, and it really allows you to make a character sheet in essence. And that's what I did. So we have a stress meter here, and I just left click that. And boom, you've got 5 of 9 filled up on the stress meter. Click back to zero it out. And you can do that all day and change that. I've got click boxes for traumas. I've got table pages here for your injuries, another healing clock. And so by using that layout command, I was able to create 3 columns here in this area to be able to better organize it. Now, this is the monitor I'm using is like a 1980 low resolution monitor, right? So it's got things kind of scrunched up a little bit, and that's why you're seeing these slider bars in here. But on my 380 my 4K monitor, it displays great. So, and then actions and attributes just allows you to set what your stats are. So you could do this and show how many pips you have in each one of your stats. And jump down here for your items. And then I've got more XP trackers here to track your XP. And then for your money, like for your coin, you got 3 coin, click 3 on here, stash, so forth. So you can quickly edit your character sheet that I've created on here. And that way, if you don't want to have a physical character sheet, you can give your players access to this, because you can invite them into your page and give them permissions to see their character. And you can control it to the point where not only can you give them read access, you can also give them write access, and they can control their own character sheet if you wanted. So, I mean, it's extremely powerful. And then I just have a separate tab here for special abilities. So if you buy a special ability, then you just tick it and it shows that you have it, right? Now, what I was telling you before about using it as a default. So let's say that I am up here and I've actually have another character that I want to create. So I'm just going to jump up to the NPC tab here, and I'm going to hit create. So it creates a new page underneath the NPC folder. And we'll just call him sample character. I know that is extremely creative. So from here, you can immediately create as just a blank page, a board, a map, timeline, or I can come down here to my templates and click character. And now I have an editable version of my character template that I can then start immediately using for a new character. So it's pretty cool. So that's how you can quickly populate your game world by setting up these templates. And then it's really easy to add new locations, characters, items, spells, anything that you can think of, you can create templates for. And these are just the default ones. You can create completely new templates if you want to. Let's jump over. I'll show you a dashboard that I created real quick. So we'll look at my Twilight 2000 one. So there's a map that we're using, and then So you'll see that I have an adventure dashboard that I've created. So this is something for the last game that we played. The things that I knew that I was going to use, I just cut and paste those directly into the board. GM screen, I created a separate tab for each one of the things that we're doing. Ranged combat, close combat, traveling. I put the crit tables in here. It is a very easy way to run your game. It's a huge time saver for me. Keeps me from having to flip around from a whole bunch of different books, right? So anyway, that's Legend Keeper. It is, let's look at the pricing here. So you can take the free plan, or you can jump over and get the pro plan, $750 a month. That's, I think, and then you can pay for it annual or monthly. So $9 a month or $750 a month if you buy it annually. And then you get, greater expanded features and stuff like that. So it is, I have a bunch of different pages that I have created in there as far as different worlds that I'm using. Yes, Mark, there are size limits in total storage. So let's see if I can show you that real quick. If we go to the asset manager, I'm not sure where that is. I have seen this somewhere. let me look real quick, see if it's on the features page. No limits on storage. Use as many maps and images as your world requires. So apparently there's no limit on whatever you can store in there. Now I know there is a per image limit as far as a file size, but it's pretty big because I think I have loaded like 30 meg maps in before. So, I mean, it'll handle a pretty large size PNG file. So anybody have any questions or anything that you'd like to see more of, or anything interesting that any comments about it that you want to go over? It's there's several of these out there. There's World Anvil, and that's the only other one that I know of. But there's a few others. But I've tried World Anvil. It's a lot harder to navigate that one. So I certainly recommend this one. It's been great for me, and I'm sure if you use this kind of thing, of course you're going to have to be a little bit nerdy like me because I love to organize stuff, right? So that's kind of a deal too. One of the guys we plays with, he runs a game off sticky notes, so it can be a little different. Everybody has their own choices, right? Okay, I don't see any questions or anything, so let's jump over and take a look at some of the things that news wise. So I pulled in a few topics. It's the end of the year. There's not a whole lot of news going on right now, so we don't have a whole lot to go over tonight, but I'll just go over a few things that I found that were interesting. So talking about the 10 best new RPGs of this last year. Cohor's Cthulhu from Modiphius. So this one looked interesting to me because of course you're mixing Cthulhu with Roman era stuff, and I mean that's a pretty cool premise in my opinion. It uses their 2D20 system though, so like I said, I'm not super big on that. The meta currency thing just doesn't click with me, but there's other parts of the game system that are pretty cool. So to each his own, I guess. But maybe if you had a lot of players that were really interested in that genre, it would be pretty cool. The land number 9, the land of EM, however you say that. So this is one of those kind of cozy games that are all the rage these days. Uh, the interesting thing here is that this game I've heard has a little bit more crunch to it than some of the other more narrative type cozy stuff that's come out. So if you are a more traditionalist with RPG systems and you've got some younger players maybe that might want to play something like this, then it might be the game for you if you like a crunchier type system. Number 8, we saw this last time. Wow. Okay, so number 8 for Coriolis. Yeah, I'd say that it belongs on the list. Not have played it, but have read through it and extensively. I agree, it should be on here. 7, Nimble 5e. So yet another 5th edition rule set. It says that they offer streamlined mechanics with faster and more cinematic combat. And I don't know how you can do that with 5e as it's already too streamlined. But, hey, whatever. If you like very little limits on your game, I guess, then this may be for you. Starfinder 2nd edition. So, I picked up Starfinder at Gen Con, the original one, several years back whenever it first released. And it was interesting, I guess, but we were already kind of starting to phase out of Pathfinder at the time. And I don't know, there's already other rule sets that do space stuff so well. You've got Traveler and Star Trek Adventures from Modiphius and other things like that. So it was an interesting read, but I can't say that it really stood out enough for me to want to play it over the others. What the F is TTRP, tabletop RPG, Scott? That's what that is. As opposed, they're saying TTRPG nowadays, as opposed to like CRPG for like on a computer and things like that. Just a way to differentiate it. Okay, so this one to me should be rated higher. This one, I think it won gold this year at the ENnie for best new RPG. I think it won several awards, but it is a OSR like set of rules for knightly Arthurian style thing, but it's loosely Arthurian, but it is a mishmash of a lot of fantasy genres, but it has a very ethereal and otherworldly feel to it. And also the way that you generate realms and NPCs, it's very much a hex crawl type system. So when you first start out, it has you generate the realm through the rules that you're going to run through, and then you do a hex crawl through the system to do it. The coolest thing about it is there's like 72 different knight classes that you can play, and each one has like a unique twist to it. It's out there, but it's something that I would love to try. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, and it has a unique mechanic. It's a no hit system. So when you attack somebody, you're considered to have hit. You're essentially rolling to see what happens. Yeah, 72. It's, I mean, I may be exaggerating a little bit, but not by much. I know it has at least like 50, I think. So it's crazy. If people are interested in it, I've got it, and we could do a little bit deeper dive like we did on Coriolis, but it's something to look at. Dolmen Wood. So I've heard a lot about this. So this is an OSR setting that was released this year. It went through a Kickstarter, but I think that it's all now available in print for anyone to buy at this point. and this is the setting for Dolman Wood. I've read a little bit about it, and it is almost like the Fey realm from the British Isles, so like British mythology, and the elves and the sprites and all that kind of thing. But it's yeah, blending OSR style mechanics with incredible artwork, brilliant writing, a surreal setting. Yeah, surreal's a good word. Yeah, that fits it pretty well. But it's if you're a OSR gamer, this is probably something you'd want to look at, see if it interests you. Uh, yeah, Cosmere. So this is from uh, Brandon Sanderson, right? So he's the author, I think, that finished out the Wheel of Time books, if I'm not mistaken, and then I think he's got his own series of fiction as well. But this is his own RPG system. So I don't know anything about it. It says drawing on material from his best-selling novels, it lets players step into interconnected worlds of his Mistborn and Stormlight series. So, released in 2025, it is mechanically crunchy while also leaning heavily into narrative play. It's an interesting combination. So, if you're big into his books and novels, maybe you might be interested in giving this a look. Oh yeah, Draw Steel from MCDM Productions. So yeah, this is a huge Kickstarter that occurred, I think, last year. Yeah, $4 million in backer support, and finally launching to the public here at the end of the year. So this is, uh, oh gosh, what's the guy's name? It's escaped me, the guy's name that launched this, but he's kind of big into the D&D scene. But he decided to create his own system, and this is it. So I haven't seen anything on it as far as reviews or anything yet. So not sure how this is gonna do, but I'm sure with 4 million backing, it's probably gonna do fairly well. And of course, everybody's favorite Daggerheart. This is the RPG released by Critical Role. So this is here's the thing that was very interesting to me is that they created this rule set, and then for their new season, they're not even using it. They're using D&D. So whatever. But it sounds it's like they don't have a lot of faith in it. Not sure, but it's not really for me. It uses a lot of weird mechanics that don't really fit together to me very well, and plus the artwork in it is really paint by numbers stuff. It's just doesn't grab me. Okay, jumping over to Chaosium. So here this year, Chaosium released the newest edition of the Pendragon rules, and at the end of the year here, they released the Magnum Opus edition, which is a really nice leatherette version of the core rules, the latest core rules. It is a beautiful book. It's pretty amazing. So it's there's another view of it. There's no difference in this one between it and the core book that was released earlier this year. It's simply a reskin of the book, but I'm kind of a sucker for collector's editions if they look really nice, and this one's one of them. So I love Pendragon. I've ran it a couple of times. Great game. It really kind of requires a special kind of players to want to do this, because it's a very unique way of playing RPGs. And if anybody's interested in that, I'd be happy to go through it and lay it all out. But that was an interesting release. I may have to grab this one because it's an amazing looking book cover. And the last thing on today's list is from Blacksite. So at some point, I want to go back and I want to go through Blacksite Studios offerings in more detail, because this is a company that's based here in Texas in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and they release they up until now they have created a lot of different games. You can see here, Breacher, Don't Look Back, Mobile Arms, This Is Not a Test, Hametsu. They're all skirmish games for miniature warfare skirmish games, and they're small model count games. They're very focused on specific genres, and they're really good. Blacksite is an amazing publisher. They also design and sell STL miniatures for all these settings and all these skirmish games that they create, as well as MDF, painted MDF terrain. It's a great company. They started small, and they've only, they're still plugging and releasing more stuff. Mark, you're saying Pendragon 1E reprint Kickstarter earlier this year. I didn't know that. That's interesting. So sounds like that it was kind of a throwback edition that they wanted to do for the fans. That's cool. That's cool. So yeah, what I wanted to highlight here is this is the Blacksite's first foray into role-playing games called Avalon Rising. So this is a kind of a cyberpunk style dystopian setting. In a history long forgotten, humanity sealed itself inside Avalon 01, a vast megastructure of concrete, steel, and neon. Within its infinite corridors and hidden depths, survival depends on navigating a fractured society divided into layers, each one clinging to life in its own way. At the city's core lies central dogma, the mysterious power that sustains Avalon. It gives light, warmth, and power to millions, but it also corrupts. Energy leaks twist the city, birthing anomalies and horrors that threaten to consume humanity. Every day, citizens must confront these terrors or see their city fall to the dark forces from beyond. Yeah, so it's an interesting take on that. I would be really curious to see what the mechanics are for this. I may pick up the PDF version and give it a look, but they've done such great work on their other skirmish products that I would suspect that this is probably pretty good too. So, and the other interesting thing is they always release their products as almost like a product family. They do several things at one time. So, if we were to jump over at Avalon Rising, you'll see that they released it with a GM screen, a scenario, a zine to go with it. And there's a lot of physical stuff too that's cool. So they create a character sheet pad, an asset pack for VTTs, and an art print pack. So every game that they release, they do this. They'll have physical accessories to go along with it, whether it's dice or character, tracker pads and things like that. They know what they're doing, and they're able to create a complete package immediately on release. This stuff didn't come out later; it was all released together. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, that's the news for today. So that's kind of what I had gathered. It's a bit slow, but as we get out of the new year, I'm sure things will increase. So I think that's all the topics that I had today. Did anybody have anything else? Anything y'all wanted to throw out there? I'd be happy to discuss it. But if not, we'll wrap it up for the evening. I know it wasn't the full hour this time, but I appreciate you guys taking a look and seeing what we had on offer. If you like the look of Legend Keeper, go over and give it a look-see on your own. Download the free, the free version and see if it's something that you can use. So I don't see any other comments, so I guess we'll wrap it up. Thanks for watching. Thanks for giving the Vault of Yesteryear a chance, and I appreciate your views. If you like what you saw, give me a like and a subscribe. If you didn't like it, then give us a try another time. Maybe you'll find something more to your liking. So anyway, thanks everybody. Have a good night.